Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day you're checking in here. I want to welcome you as we continue our study on our God-given appetites. This week we are looking at our God-given appetites for food. Yesterday I did the opening and explained about this appetite that God has given us. We looked at Genesis chapter 1, where this idea of paradise in chapter 1 and 2. And then when we came to chapter 3, we saw the results of the sin of humanity and how that has continued to affect us even to this day. We no longer live in paradise. We now live in a broken, fallen world with broken and fallen people all around us, ourselves included. And so there's some consequences of that. We looked at all of that yesterday, so if you did not see that video, I would suggest that you go back and take a look at that. Today, I'm going to give you some proven, effective ways of controlling your appetite and learning to feed your appetite in healthy ways. So the first one is this: get some exercise. Exercise is by far the healthiest choice any of us can make for ourselves. Exercise is also known to be the number one stress reducer. So if you're feeling stress, and I'm talking to people every day, I'm looking at social media every day, people are feeling stressed. They're trying to adapt to all this technology. They're trying to help their children with schoolwork at home. They're trying to do their own jobs from home, plus manage their homes and their children's and their families. I mean, there's so much people are trying to handle right now. Stress is probably at an all-time high. People are really feeling anxious right now. And so if there's a proven way to reduce stress, I think we should take it. And that is exercise. Another thing exercise does is helps us control our appetites. Why is that? Well, if you work out and you sweat and your muscles are sore and you're getting those good feel endorphins coming through, why would you want to then sit down to a meal that is going to eradicate all the work that you did? No. And studies prove that when we start our day with exercise and a healthy breakfast, that first meal, if it's a healthy one, we're more likely to eat healthier throughout the day. For the same reason, why would you want to eradicate all the work you've done? No, you want to continue that good work. Another thing that exercise does is it increases our energy levels. A lot of us are pretty sedentary right now. We're working from home. We're sitting more than usual. We're not, getting in our cars and going shopping and doing all these other little things that gave us a little bit of movement. And so it's very important for us to keep our energy levels high. And how do we do that? By exercising and eating well. Now, I mentioned the endorphins. Endorphins are like natural opioids. We get the same effect from exercise that we do if we use chemicals to feel good. So why would we not want to do it in a natural way? And another thing exercise does, it improves the quality of our sleep. Many adults that I know have trouble sleeping. Maybe they fall asleep and they wake and they can't get back to sleep, or maybe they just can't get to sleep at all. Well, exercise is one of the ways that our body helps us to sleep better when we exercise. So that's my first suggestion, is get some exercise. The second one is this: find a hobby. If you don't have a hobby, find one. And if you have a hobby, get engaged in it. Start doing it regularly. Be active about it. Hobbies are known to bring us pleasure. And if we're going to learn to control our appetites for food, finding things that give us pleasure is one of the ways that we can do that. So I'm going to just run through a couple of suggestions, a few suggestions of things you can do as far as a hobby. These are not, you must do these. These are just suggestions. And all of these can be done right now in big ways or small ways, even while you're still in quarantine or your county or your state is removing the lockdown. So the first is go find a golfing buddy and go hit the links. Or go by yourself and just knock some balls around on the putting green or the chipping green. These are great ways to just take up that hobby, that, dust off those golf clubs and use them once again. If you're a painter, if you're an artist, get out those paintbrushes, get out your paints, and go dig through that closet where you've got all those blank canvases and start putting some color on those canvases and get engaged in your painting once again. For those of you that like to work with yarn, get out those knitting needles and crochet hooks and a skein or two of yarn and start practicing again. Maybe you can tune into a YouTube video or Google some ways to start an afghan or start a scarf or whatever it is. There are plenty of opportunities, even while you're sequestered at home or quarantined at home, that you could learn or relearn how to knit or crochet. And here's another one. Get out your fishing pole. Get that fishing line untangled. Go dig for some worms and go to your favorite stream or lake nearby and just spend some time out in nature fishing. These are all just simple ways that you can either revive a hobby that you've set aside or go find something new to do. These are just suggestions. What I'm doing here is I'm giving you permission to go have some fun, because I want to tell you that your friends and family are telling me that all work and no play is making you a very dull person to be around. It's easy for us right now to be sitting on the couch and not doing much of anything, and that's not healthy. And it certainly is not going to help us to control our appetites. One of the things that, as I am communicating with dozens and dozens of people every week via Zoom and other methods, that's one of the things I'm hearing, is that all we're doing is eating. All we're doing is eating. Hey, if you can make it through this quarantine now looking at healthy ways to feed your appetite for food, then you're going to have this mastered when we are re-entering our world again in new and different ways. So these are two things that I would suggest. Go get some exercise and find a hobby and get engaged and actively practice that hobby and actively be engaged with some forms of exercise. And these are things that will help you to control your appetite and feed your appetite for food in healthy ways. Tomorrow I'm going to do just a little wrap up on where we've been in this study and just give us some reminders of where we are and what will be coming up in the next week. So I hope you have a great day and go get some exercise. Get out those things that will help you engage in your favorite hobby. I'll see you tomorrow.